let's roll on to our recruit of the week. Our recruit of the week is Silsbee senior wide receiver Dre'lon Miller. If you haven't heard the news on TexasFootball.com, Dre'lon Miller, the longtime Texas A&M commit, about 3 months he'd been committed to Texas A&M, has decommitted last night, announcing his decommitment from Texas A&M and opened his recruiting back up. He says you talked with sources who said that he is open to all options at this point. But this, I mean, let's talk about it from two fronts. First of all, this is a pretty tough blow here for the Aggies, correct?
Yes. Yeah,
Hard
that's
stop.
a big.
That's a 5-star.
It's a big blow because I think that he is the guy that I keep coming back to. You're going to hear me say it. You're going to hear me continue to say it all the way up until we don't talk about Dre'lon Miller anymore, which might be 5 years from now. He's the Deebo Samuel of Texas high school football. He's a guy that you can line up in the backfield, you can split out wide and do a lot of different things, but he's a tremendous receiver. He understands how to get open, and his physique is one of the top in the state. Like when you see Dre'lon Miller, you're like, oh, yeah, that's a dude. But he runs extremely well as well. So he has just like the total package. If you're looking for a playmaker on offense, this is a guy who can basically do it all, and he does it all for Silsbee. I mean, like, he is one of the top 3 singularly most important players to his team.
And what's going to be very interesting about this, before we move on to what his future recruitment looks like, what's interesting is they're heading into a real high-profile game against Hampshire Finette. Pickle, you have anything to say?
Live on Dave Campbell's Texan Live.
A huge game, matchup of unbeatens. And Matt Stepp on Tep and Step this week made the prediction. They've kind of like, he's had good numbers, but he hasn't had that big game. He's predicting this is the game he blows up.
Well,
which, I mean, absolutely. He could do it at any moment, basically.
He's had some. I mean, he's had
He's
a
had some
couple
good
of
games,
150, 170 yard receiving.
But he hasn't had the like, whoa, you're the best player on the field game yet.
I don't know.
Okay.
I agree with Matt Stepp on Matt, you're my boy. I agree with you on a lot of things.
He hates you.
But 170 yards receiving, that 3 touchdowns to me, I'm putting that in to the elite.
I'm saying he thinks that he said on Tep and Step, and I go and listen to Tep and Step, so know that I'm like, fact check me on this. But I'm paraphrasing. He's saying he thinks that this is the week that he really blows up.
Well, what teams have done, they've tried to find ways to scheme to stop him, right? Mm-hmm. And Silsbee does a unique job of like moving him around and all that kind of stuff, but they just haven't really had.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm taking it back, Step. I'm softening my stance because
don't talk yourself into a different argument.
Here's where I can see what he's saying is they haven't had to scheme him open.
Yeah.
Right?
You haven't had to unleash the beast.
To truly unleash him. And in many respects, Ashton Cartwright, their other really good receiver there, has been the beneficiary of that because they're doubling up Dre'lon Miller. And let's just throw to Ashton Cartwright, who, by the way, like, this is a segment about Dre'lon Miller. I think Ashton Cartwright's a darn good player.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
He's at least a G5 recruit, and like, I could see him being a P5 guy. I think he's an FBS. He's an FBS level I think he's an FBS
talent.
guy. Absolutely. Anyway,
not getting enough attention, I feel like, as well. I'd agree with that. Our friend Ishmael Johnson's really high on Ashton Cartwright as well. He really caught his eye at the state 7-on-7. But I can see where Step's coming from because they haven't had to go into their bag of tricks yet.
And just be like, because you go back to that the very famous play in the Cuero regional final where they basically threw the ball to him and said, go make magic happen. He's like, okay. He scored a touchdown in overtime. All right. Now on to what this means for his recruitment moving forward. This is a huge loss for A&M. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Where does he stand as far as where's he going, Powers?
I don't know where he's going yet. Mm-hmm. I got to keep a close eye on LSU and USC first and foremost. LSU, he decommitted from Texas A&M fresh off of an unofficial visit to LSU last weekend. So, I mean, where there's smoke, sometimes there's fire, right? Mm-hmm. Or often there's fire. So LSU is a school that I'm watching very closely in this one. USC did a tremendous job when he was out there on his visits, too. As a matter of fact, there were a lot of people who felt like USC did enough to take the lead at one point in his recruitment. So, I mean, that's a very friendly offense for a wide receiver. They know how to – I mean, it's a cool place to play. Probably
and they know how to put receivers in the NFL.
Right.
You know?
Yep. So An interesting name to me, though, was Colorado that was mentioned. And it's a name that I expect to resonate with more Texas high school football recruits in the near future. What's crazy about Colorado to me is we don't really talk about it that much. I really thought when Deion Sanders took the head coaching position there that like this is going to be a school that we have to watch out for our top recruits in the Lone Star State. Like this, he's going to be targeting these guys. When he talked about bringing Louis with him when he took that job, guess what? Texas high school football is the Louis of the nation as it relates to recruiting. So I expected that we got to talk about them a little bit more. Maybe this is the start of that a little bit here for Colorado. So I'll be interested to see how that
Especially
plays
with
out.
Their move to the Big 12 and playing more local games.
Exactly. Yeah, I just thought like, oh wow, like Colorado's going to be a factor for all of these guys, especially like even into DeSoto, right, where they've had guys like Laviska Chenault and Katie Nixon who've started like, all right, Colorado's coming after all the DeSoto guys like right away. Anyway, a little bit of a
it's a big breaking news item there on TexasFootball.com. I'll just say this, and you don't need to comment. You can comment if you'd like. There was another Texas A&M 5-star, or at least high 4-star commitment who visited LSU this past weekend. It was Terry Bussey,
and he picked up his 5th star yesterday as part of those rankings updates that we talked about. So Terry Bussey is the latest 5-star in Dave Campbell's Texas football. I called him the East Texas icon.
Yeah,
the East Texas icon, Terry Bussey, did take an unofficial visit to LSU, and it's something worth monitoring if you're a Texas A&M fan of how this goes. Like he's like fresh off of a commitment to A&M. Like maybe it's been longer than I think, just because the season's been flying by. But it's been like 3 weeks, right?
It's been 2 weeks. I feel like.
So I mean. Yeah, something to watch. I mean, something to watch. We'll see how this A&M class does down the stretch.
Keep an eye on
especially with
that.
some of these top in-state recruits.
Watch this space. Hey, thanks for watching this clip here on YouTube. If you like this kind of stuff and you want more of it, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember, you can watch us live every weekday at noon at TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, or here on YouTube. And if you want more of the best coverage of football in the state of Texas, check out TexasFootball.com and become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football Insider at TexasFootball.com/subscribe.